Hello and welcome to another episode of the Live Free podcast. Today we have Sheetal, and she is going to be telling us a little bit about her story and how she came to be in the work that she does. Sheetal, interestingly enough, means cool or calm, which is so much embodied in her as she speaks. She is a clinical hypnotherapist as well as mindset coach. And she really infuses her story into working with her clients to help relate and connect with them in such a beautiful way. So thank you, Sheetal, for being here and welcome.
Hello, Christine. It's so lovely to be here. Yes, I'm so excited to talk about my story today, and I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people out there.
Yes, I think so too. Absolutely. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, Sheetal. Tell us about your story, how you came to be in this work.
All right. So, um, I came from a family with a lot of domestic violence, alcohol, and poverty. And at the time, I didn't know it was something big and something. I was born into that, so it just was normal for me to just go through that. But as I grew up, I realized that, in fact, I struggled. I struggled with a lot of things, but I didn't realize it then. It was only in my late 30s I realized that I'd been through traumatic experiences in my past, and
Wow.
they were showing up in different ways. They were showing up with addictions, with hives on my skin, with anxiety, which I didn't know was anxiety. I just felt tightness in my chest, but I would take medications and stuff like that, thinking it's an allergy. So that was like a just a brief. I mean, how I reached here in a capsule.
Mm, right. And, that's just it is that, we didn't have the mental support that we needed. And it's changing now, which is good. And I'm grateful that it's starting to. But here you are in your 30s, wondering if you have allergies, all the while not realizing that you've been through so much trauma. What was that like for you coming into that realization at 30 that you had been through so much trauma?
So it was at a time I was dating somebody, and they told me to actually go get some help from some therapy. I was just going out with this person, and they told me you're not okay. There's something deeply wrong with you. And I was like, yeah, maybe I had all these experiences, but I'm fine. I'm sorted. I'm okay. I moved on from there. I was a cabin crew, so I've seen over 40 countries, and that made me think that I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm seeing the world, I'm successful in what I do. But only to realize after I did a few therapy sessions that there's so much within me that needed to come out. There's so many insecurities. There were so many stories that I just needed to get out of me. I didn't realize, to be very honest, till then, I didn't realize that I'd been through so much because it just seemed normal. But now I realize, sometimes things that seem normal, especially some sort of trauma, either from your parents, in your body. Sometimes we have traumatic experiences in our bodies, and we don't even know it. It's just here trying to tell you something, and you have no idea. You're just going on because you're just so used to it. You have an addiction, you're just so used to it. So you're just going on. So yeah, that's. I think I lost track of the question.
No, that's good. That's good. This context is important. And I think so many listeners are really wondering at this point, where, what type of treatments did you find were really helpful to you during that time when you were healing? And kind of how long was the duration before you started to feel more at home in your body? Because so many people when they're at the beginning of a journey like this, they're wondering, how long is this going to take and what do I need to do? Right? So how do you tell us a little bit about your healing journey?
All right. So I think the healing journey is still on. I believe it
Of
never
course.
ends because it's just that there are layers and layers and layers of it. But I believe what is really important is to begin, to start somewhere. So let me tell you, maybe in 2018, one of my friends recommended Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life.
Mm,
And I had no idea. I couldn't understand it because my mind was so closed and blocked. So I read half the book and I just put it away because I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand the depth of it because I had shut myself down. So in 2020, or actually 2019 is when I started doing therapy and I read the book again and it started to make sense to me. But what I did was I didn't know at the time what I was doing. I just got a number from a therapist and I just followed her direction. Um, I was doing hypnotherapy with her. I was doing EFT with her, which is tapping at different pressure points, which is these are all just absolutely amazing tools. And I was doing a lot of NLP as well, in just but I had no clue what the heck I was doing then because I had no idea about therapy at all. And once that opened up for me, I started to see things very differently. I began to see what I actually went through and how much of anger I had within me towards my parents, firstly, which I didn't have any idea about. How much of irritation I had. There were so many suppressed stuff, things that just started to come out. And I think those therapy sessions really, really helped me out. I did it for about 6 months and I did it maybe once or twice a week sometimes. And you will not believe that I actually just did it on the phone, like on a normal phone call where the therapist couldn't even see me. But it really worked out for me. However, and I actually do something very similar now. However, what I do is a bit different because I was in that space. I didn't know what I was doing. I was clueless. I just knew that I was going through a lot of pain and there's just this process of getting it out. But I didn't understand what I was doing at that point. But there were layers like that just fell off and things that I could understand. And I do something similar, like I said, with hypnotherapy, but there's a lot of direction through this process that I do. There's a lot of direction, and I don't work with people for that long. I work with people for a month up to 3 months. And I think that was something I missed because I was really clueless, and that's actually where my my I didn't even know I wanted to be a therapist. I didn't know anything about therapy. I was just doing it to learn for me because it really, really helped me out. Also, I realized another thing that really helps um, most of my clients and myself out is just exercising a bit, moving a bit. The days that I don't move, I realize the stagnant energy and things that just pull me down. So these are the two things that worked for me. One is movement, and the other thing is a therapy with my therapist.
beautiful. Absolutely. Sheetal, it's amazing how quickly a connection with a therapist who you really, really trust, who, can be forever away, can be on the phone, can be all these sorts of things, can make such a deep and lasting, meaningful connection with you. Because I think what it is that we don't realize at the time what we need until somebody who, clinical hypnotherapist like what you do, or mindset coach can say, I've been there too. And I feel like what really qualifies you to do your work, her to do her work, is really the experiences and having being a few steps ahead of maybe where you are, where she can reflect back to you, say, this is what I went through and things like that. And I feel like that just makes a really big difference, to have somebody like that in your life. So I'm just so happy for you that this really made a difference for you, and that you came to the conclusion really that, this is what you want to do. You want to make this big difference for people as well. And so you launched into your career. That must have been a lot, going from, I'm working on myself to saying, I want to do this, so then you go into school and you do all these sorts of things, and it's been a whirlwind for you.
Absolutely. In fact, Christine, this happened at a time where when there was so much chaos in my life because I was going through therapy myself. I started to learn these things because I was interested in it. But then COVID came about, and I was made redundant from my job. So there was absolute chaos, and I took a few months break before I could start studying it. As someone who could practice it. So it took me about a year to make that decision. But somehow I feel it wasn't me who made that decision. It was made for me. It was as if during the chaos, a path opened up for me. And it wasn't for me to decide, it was just for me to walk. And I'm still on that path. I'm just learning, and sometimes unlearning stuff that I don't need anymore. So yeah.
Isn't that the truth? The path is not necessarily of you, but for you. It's
Absolutely.
it it's an inner longing and knowing that it's time, like, for you to be moving in this direction. It feels magnetic, and you just follow it, and then suddenly you arrive at this place and are like, oh, I get it, God, universe, source, where you wanted me to be. And so, yeah, and therefore you begin. Yeah. I agree with you
There's
completely.
something to that as well, Christine. I think during this path, you go back and forth so many times, you go up and down so many times, and you know that. And it's just that, oh, should I be doing that, or should I just get back to a 9 to 5? And then something just pull you back and say, no, this is the reason you're here. You've gone through all these experiences in your life just to do this. And you sometimes don't know how it's going to happen, how you're going to make things work, but it just does. I know
Yeah.
you can totally understand what I mean.
Oh, I do. I do, and I mean, for myself, going through what I went through, I look back at it with fondness, which is so unbelievably rare and unique for some people. I've definitely caused a little bit of apprehension in people when I say, cancer, although not inherently a blessing, was the biggest blessing of my life. Would you agree in terms of the experiences that you went through that has brought you to this juncture, or would you see it differently?
No, absolutely. I feel I do believe in my soul's growth, and I think this grows my soul to come from a place where there wasn't enough money, there was domestic violence, there was alcoholism, to move past to be able to see the entire world with and get paid for it, and then move into this space where you realize that you've just come a whole circle basically, to do things differently, when you're faced with your childhood unmet needs, when you're faced with certain things that have happened in your childhood, and now you have the opportunity to respond and react differently to situations. So I feel like I've come whole circle because I was thrown into chaos again in 2020, that brought about a lot of childhood trauma, a lot of childhood unmet needs and issues. And I'm still learning, in fact, to respond to that differently.
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And you said something that was really poignant that I thought was really extraordinary. Now I can't remember what it is, but it'll come back to me. But I mean, I agree with you. I think that you come full circle, and the experience really supercharges the way in which that you talk and speak with people. Um, I'm curious about going through everything that you've gone through. What do you tend to attract the clients who have been through childhood trauma, abuse, and those types of things? Is that really your zone of genius, or where do you tend to work with in terms of clientele?
Right, I'm glad you asked me this question because I was very open to, I didn't niche down actually. It's just a very new thing that I'm doing. Because what happens is that I've been through certain things in my life and I was like, maybe I should help people with this and maybe I should help people with that. And then I was like, oh, I'm not sure. And this took, it was a long process, but what I realized is that the experiences that I've had, the trauma that I've been through is one part of it. But what really, the clients that come to me are normally women who are who feel unworthy. And that's somewhere my mother. I feel that's my mom. Because for me, I was more of a person that even though I was shy, I felt insecure with things. I actually got up and did things, and slowly I started to see, you can make things happen. But my mom didn't believe she was worthy to get out of the house. She didn't believe she was worthy to leave my father. She didn't believe that she was worthy and valuable. She was always seeking appreciation from the outside. And I tend to attract those clients. In fact, it's my mom. So yeah, I've realized that these are the people who come to me, and it works out because I help them to see that they are worthy, and that was something I probably did with my mom as well because she's moved. She's moved into different. I do challenge my clients. I do push them sometimes a little bit too much, and I've done that with my mom as well. But I know it works, and so yeah, now my clients are more not really, not necessarily me, but my experience of being down has really helped me see that people go through so much in their lives, and as a therapist, I feel that at least I can support them through this process because I'm not a healer. Everyone's their own healer, right? Everyone can help themselves. And sometimes all they need is a bit of support to know that they are worthy just as they are. They are beautiful, and their experiences are not who they are. Their thoughts are not who they are. Their feelings are not who they are. They are innately beautiful, bright lights, which are so valuable. And all of us are that. We just need to remember that. So I help my clients see that in themselves, that they are beautiful just as they are. They're worthy. They're worthy for great relationships. They are worthy to have an amazing body. They're worthy, especially women, to have great jobs and to get promoted and to be seen and heard. So yeah, that's actually my clients are my mom.
Yeah. Oh, what a powerful, inspirational um, thing that you just said, is that they are worthy. And really what I'm hearing is that you help people to see the divinity within themselves.
Absolutely.
That's gorgeous. And we need more light workers like you. And we're getting them. It's coming, and we're getting more and more coaches and people, counselors and therapists and those types of things, who have been through it and are willing to show up vulnerably and tell their story, and really show up for the rest of the world, and really transmute that pain into power, like you have done. Wow. And so I'd like to end on a note of, if someone is in the same spot as you, so if they've been through a difficult childhood, and now they're in their 30s, and they're wondering what the heck all these coping mechanisms are, what are some of the best advice pieces that you would give a person in that position?
So I would say that sometimes our mind goes all over the place. We don't know what's going on with us, and we have a lot of resources in today's world. However, sometimes these throw you off track. because you don't know what's really going to help you or not. So my advice to anyone is firstly to follow your heart. There's a lot of information out there, and sometimes it throws you off. So follow your heart. Invest in yourself, whether it's your time, it's your energy, it's your money. Invest in yourself. So these are the two bits of advice I'd give people: is follow your heart, because there's a lot of stuff out there. So look within for your answers. And the other thing is just invest in yourself. Also, of course, because I'm a therapist, it's not only because I'm a therapist, I'm going to say that, but when you connect with the right therapist, and it's not just for you, but both of you, when you'll have the right connection, I feel it makes a huge difference to the outcome of this process. And if you're going through this process again, it doesn't have to be ongoing for years and years and years that you're in therapy, because that's just a crutch for you. I mean, I think I've given a lot of advice there, but these are a couple of things that I faced, that I just went in a direction looking for information everywhere. It didn't help me out, and I try my best to just follow my heart. I realized that therapy doesn't have to be a year-long process. You can do it in just a month, and where you can always follow up when you find the need to. So yeah.
Wonderful. Yes. And I think that's all very good advice. And it is coming from the experience that you went through and the way that you were able to heal and grow and continue to heal today.
Mm.
So that is beautiful. Thank you so much, Sheetal, for being here, for telling your story so vulnerably and helping us to understand what we can search out, look for, and need in these processes where we begin to heal and find our worthiness. Really is the theme. And so I will pop your information into the show notes for anybody who resonates with what you say. And just thank you again for sharing today and for being with me. It has been an absolute honor.
Thank you so much, Christine. I just loved it.